All right, so we're on the last group, which is air, and just kind of looking. I think fire is kind of built more to handle Venus and Capricorn. Other than the Aries square. Earth, obviously, Earth on Earth is going to be good. Water, I think, benefits the most in terms of elements from Venus and Capricorn. But air, I think you guys are going to be my struggle bus group. So with that being said, let's lead off with Gemini. So Gemini experience Venus and Capricorn. I have a cheat code because I hold on. Ugh. I love Geminis. That's probably like my number one. Well, I have an air Venus, so let's just say I attract definitely lots of Geminis and Aquarius. But with that being said, when my Capricorn sign is activated, I can get very annoyed by Gemini being wet. There are eternal, there are Apollo and Artemis twins. They're the eternal youth. They are the fountain of youth and very mercurial, going. I mean, don't get me wrong, Capricorn can keep up. But it's when the old man Saturn starts kicking in, and then they start yelling at Mercury like blah 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 blah. So I think that in terms of what this means for Gemini, there's going to be potentially maybe a little bit of a slowdown, and I think that Gemini can kind of get annoyed by perhaps the somberness that Venus and Capricorn, and we're going into the winter months. So, they're going to be experiencing, Capricorn sun and, Mercury, and remember Pluto was still hanging out there. So I think that, Gemini is just going to, I hope you guys don't overreact to maybe the parental energy in the air. I feel like Gemini can be the teenager that may want to run away from kind of like maybe just getting their stuff together a little bit, because like I said, we are kind of at those, I keep pointing to those endpoints, where people feel pressure to, get their life organized as the year ends or start organizing their life, in the beginning of the year. So I think Gemini can feel into some of that, but I think what you all's goal is to, this is kind of like trying to make Mercury, Venus, and Saturn play nice together. Saturn wants to boss around everyone. Venus and Mercury are more like, screw this old man, we're out of here. And then Saturn has to end up trailing those two because he's in charge. So this is kind of like, two teenagers, like literally it's so funny, like Gemini twins. So we're going to say the twins in this case are Mercury and Venus trying to hang out with Capricorn, but reframe it, Gemini. Imagine, hopefully, we're just going to wish for the best. We all get different lives out here, but this is kind of like the energy of you hanging out with your parents all day. How do you get through it? How do you get through it? But that's what you need to conquer. You need to put aside I'm going to go outside. Put aside the Cartman. Screw you guys. I'm going home and hang out with your parents all day. And then you're going to come home and be like, man, I really hung out with my parents for like 8 hours, for 10 hours. And you're going to be like, man, we had a good time. I learned a lot. Like maybe you learned backgammon as opposed to playing online poker. They pull out the board and you play some backgammon, or maybe your father's like, man, my son's getting older. I'm gonna let you finally have a drink at the table. Those kind of moments. And what's the bridge that I said? Like I said, I enjoy my relationships with Gemini. What's the bridge is great conversation. And Gemini and Capricorn can both step into that. So I think if anything, like this would be a good time to mature the things that needed, and that's what you're attracted to. And Gemini, y'all attracted to a lot, but I think another thing, Venus and Capricorn would bring discernment. So whether it is, those Capricorn themes that Gemini may not want to examine, of course, work, being a thought, being a boss, being an authority and stuff like that. But, don't do it necessarily. I think the beauty in Gemini is color it. I think Capricorn is going to give you the blueprint in a black and white and gray, grayscale. But Gemini goal is to color that in with what makes you. That's the message. Okay, so my next air sign is, let's see, Gemini. Sometimes I gotta count up. Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra. Okay, so Libra, this is definitely, you're not going to be hit as bad as Cancer, which is going to experience the opposition, but we're back in the notion of a square, and this time we literally have opposite elements. We have the dense earth, ground, Capricorn, squaring Venus, squaring Libra, which is ruled by Venus, but it's air, and I would say definitely as a Capricorn, my toughest relationship aspects are definitely Cancer first and Libra second. The square is real. Let me just leave it at that. So what is the gift here for Libra experiencing this square, and potentially this square, not just remembering Venus in Capricorn, but, at some point it would be Pluto in Capricorn too. What is there for you all to learn? And I think, what we have here, the square of Venus the square of Libra and Capricorn it's interesting because it's just we just think so differently in terms of, in some cases it's with Gemini, like y'all at least are very informational based. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here trying to say like, oh, Libras are like, I don't even want to say, are less intelligent. I'm not saying that by no means, because let us not forget Libra rules law, and there's lots of smart lawyers, JDs, judges that will rock for Team Libra. But it's just the way that information is conveyed to Capricorn, I think, is where we butt heads. And in some cases, Libras, love of aesthetic, love for themselves. They can have a very healthy self-esteem, just can rub Capricorn in different ways. So, what is the lesson? Like if you're a native sun square Venus, you have tension between your ego, your soul mission, that's your sun sign, your soul mission, and your Venus, which is your self-worth, your growth, your what we love, what we desire, what we give value to. More so when I think of Venus, I say it's all things that we give value to. And, so you're at odds. You can't get it right. I feel like this is the push and pull of, one day you're shopping at Bloomingdale's and then you're like eating ramen for a week because you are like fake punishing yourself. But I think if anything, Venus in Capricorn is going to give, Venus time, Saturn's associated with time. It's going to give it's going to give Libra time to examine, their own, I don't want to say like the money spending habits, because I think sometimes with Venus, they can be with Libra, they can be subjected to the keeping up with the Joneses nomenclature, and I think that, there's nothing wrong with spending money, especially if you have a great job, great career. And I think in this case, most of my Libra people have good lives that are watching this, but I think that, they have begun to kind of examine, more so, okay, like the purchases that feel good and the ones that don't. Because Libra is the scales. They're always thinking, they're always trying to come to making good decisions. And I think that Venus in Capricorn is kind of more like going to be that heaviness to help even out those scales. Put a little here, almost it's giving me Six of Pentacles in the tarot feeling. Yes, that is the feeling of, yes, that's the gift. I'm sorry, I just like lean into that. That is the gift for my Libras. Six of Pentacles energy, and Venus in Capricorn will be the dispenser of evening up your thoughts and your decisions. Like I said, I am getting more something related to money, self-worth, and spending for yourself. Spending that feels good versus spending that feels bad. But I'm leaning more into that Six of Pentacles and just looking at the Rider Waite energy, because for what I should always have my tarot deck. It's behind me. I'm not gonna get up and give it. But there's three people in that photo. Someone that is receiving, someone that's giving, and someone that's in need. And I think that Libra may spin into all three of those characteristics or archetypes, but now it's decision time, and Venus in Capricorn is here to be bang bang, pun intended, my legal Librians. Venus in Capricorn is here to bang on the table to help you guys snap out of it. And and this is something else, and I'm kind of hearing maybe there does need to be a big financial decision that Libra has been hedging on these last few months, and now y'all gonna maybe finally have the information or something given to you. Or I think that Pluto conjunction is going to provide something that you need to make a big financial decision. This could be buying a house. This could be maybe even for some of y'all, I'm thinking investments, like maybe I'm getting something like a change in your investment style. Like, I'm a big believer, even though I talk a lot about crypto, I'm a big believer in like index funds and ETFs. So maybe some of you all, have gotten burned from the GME AMC fiasco, and you decided, hey, I want to break into some safer positions. That's definitely something. But yeah, what I'm feeling, Librian, is the Venus in Capricorn is going to be the weight that helps even out those scales for you all. And it's going to be uncomfortable. Let me go back to that, because this is a square. This is a square and a squaring of Venus and a squaring of Pluto. So it's going to be uncomfortable, because you all want to. Another thing too, that this is very, it's straightforward, but it's true. You all are very airy. I think this is also a time where you may need to buy some notebooks, do more thinking on paper. Even if you type it up later, I think that, again, the earthly energy needs to pull you down out of you all's minds to help you all make those concrete decisions. And yes, actually, what? At first I was leaning into this saying, what I'm hearing intuitively is, I think that Venus, Cancer and Aries are going to struggle the most with this transit. But I think Libra, this is going to be good for you all. At first I was a little bit concerned, but I think let's keep banging on the analogy of Venus giving you all the weight you all need to help make decisions. I say lean into that this next 5 or 6 months that we're in this transit, and even see what surprises you may get with the retrograde. I think what I'm hearing for you all is you all will probably do the best during the retrograde period. So maybe that is a lucky time where, if you want to roll the dice, because no matter what, Libra and Capricorn are cardinal success of successful signs. I think the retrograde will be a good time for you all to make some risky investments, or if you make this, I think that'd be an enhanced money making time period for you all. Definitely, I think that's what I'm feeling. We'll come back, y'all. Let me know, Librians. Let me know. Okay, who is up next for air signs? Sagittarius. Sagittarius. No, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Oh, Aquarius. How could I forget? Yes, last but not least. Aquarius is, in terms of like Capricorn energy, is very hit or miss. And I'm a little bit of a cheat code. Like I said, I have an air Venus, so I like hanging out with my quirky Aquarian folks. We have a lot of Aquarians in my family. So what does Venus in Capricorn mean for you all? Like I said, it's so hit or miss, because don't get me wrong, Aquarius is co-ruled by Saturn, so they're no strangers to our old guy squeezing things and making situations tight. But what we have here, okay, yes, now some things are coming to me, because Aquarius is already squeezed tight. They're going through their, I went through this the last 2-3 years ago with Saturn and Capricorn. Actually, it was a good transit though, for me personally. But now my Aquarians are experiencing Saturn in, Saturn in Aquarius, Jupiter in Aquarius, which kind of balances out with some, good beneficial energy there of Jupiter. But that's going to be, that transit, actually Jupiter is going to be leaving Aquarius soon. I don't have my app in front of me, but I think probably in the next 6 months it might start playing around with Pisces land. So I say all this to say Aquarius is losing some, let's say, some sparkle around their tough Aquarius transit. So Venus coming into Capricorn, I think that this is actually, I did say in the beginning, I think the air signs are going to be the most challenged with this energy, because it's so grounding to their everyday cadence, which is, clouds up in the air, the thought-based world, and the Capricorn world is the manifested matter-based world. So this is a conflict in thinking. So I think that, Aquarius is going to feel doubly squeezed with this Venus in Capricorn. And it may depend. Like I said, Aquarius is the sister brother sign next to Capricorn. So you may have some, like I said, it's just natural. If you know astrology, in some cases it follows the solar system. So is always a high chance that at least your Mercury and your Venus is going to either be in the sign before, the current sign, or the sign after. And sometimes it can stretch like a little bit before or after, depending on a transit per se. So I say all this to say there may be, in some cases, some of my Aquarius is here watching to have some personal planets in Capricorn, so they may be getting a boost. Like you may be Aquarius Sun and Mercury with Venus in Capricorn, so you're feeling a boost, but then you're getting a squeeze through your Saturn, Sun, and Mercury Saturn conjunctions. So there's going to be, it's a push pull, but it's a heavy job. It's like imagining Aquarius is tasked with taking a big cart full of heavy rocks and moving it back and forth. I say all this to say they may feel as intelligent and as forward thinking as they are. They're like, what am I doing here? How can I optimize? Because, Aquarius has to use its higher mind. They have to continue that knowledge pouring. And if they're rolling this big burden back and forth, they're not doing that. And that's a problem. And that gets Aquarius depressed. If Aquarius is not expressing their eccentric genius, they're depressed. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. Like a lot of people feel like, oh, Aquarius is so detached and nonchalant. There's feelings there. I always call out my Aquarius people. I got a whole family full of them. There's feelings there, and instead of getting into the feels, Aquarius is not a water sign. Let's get back to using our higher mind to generate what we need to do, what makes us feel good. And that leads us into Venus in Capricorn. Ultimately, Venus should make you feel good. And, in this case, I think in order for Aquarius to get back to those feel good, happy friend vibes, they're going to have to, I think take some risks outside of their character. And I think this means, having not just conversations, but a melting of minds through Capricorn places. And that can be, co-workers, or, maybe there's a seminar at work that you watch virtually, but it gives you an idea and now you're down a YouTube rabbit hole, I'm trying to think, I feel like all Capricorn things are like old and work, or, but I think really let's explore more on, being an authority, because I think Aquarius loves groups. And, I feel like Meetup and all those places, even, what's the app, Bumblebee, was made for you all. So I think that you're going to have to rely on, instead of being like more of key thing that came to mind, Aquarius can be stubborn. They're fixed air. That's why they're locked into pouring that water. Whereas Capricorn is the goat. So the goat's not moving that fast because it's climbing up and down the rocks. But I think that means that Aquarius needs to come into movement. Yes, that's like that long drawn out. Movement. That's what's coming to mind in terms of what I'm hearing is y'all need to get on the goat's back and see what adventures you go to. And you're going to be going at your own pace. So that's going to make y'all feel safe. It's going to make y'all look into, because with goat hoofs is they have the ability to scale mountains, and mountains is not just like, it's rocks and crevices and stalagmites and stalactites, and it's being able to stay on equal footing. So yes, that's another message. So this Venus in Capricorn transit for Aquarius is going to help them stay on equal footing while they navigate the tensions of the Saturn and Aquarius transit and whatnot. But yeah, so I'm thinking, so this has something to do though with this groups and work. I don't know. I'm also kind of feel like if Aquarius was on the line for starting a business, this would be a phenomenal time for Aquarius to start a business. And again, I think really with the overall message I keep hearing over and over is, yes, this would make sense with Saturn ruling time, is Aquarius needs to use its time to develop ideas, strategies, invent things, hang out with people, spend more time at work. Maybe actually, yeah, this may be a good time in Saturn if you, for Aquarius, if you guys want to go balls to the wall with some overtime, this would be good for you all. I'm not saying it should work your feelings away, but y'all need to keep busy. Yes, that's what came to mind. You know, heavy Aquarius people need to keep busy, and you know, I think you can do that safely by riding the hoofs of the goat. Like, you know, the Capricorn goat is not moving. It's not the Aries ram. It's not the Aries ram. So you don't need to strap on and be like, where are we going? Capricorn knows where it's going, and Aquarius needs to strap on. But yeah, that's the key theme is Aquarius. If you're going to be sitting in the house and being stagnant or playing it safe, because again, Aquarius is fixed air. People don't realize how stubborn. Woo! I could write a book on the stubbornness of Aquarius, how stubborn they can be, and that's not good for you all during this time. So I would say in the next 6 months, movement. I know some of us are whatever hemisphere you're in. You might be going for winter, you might be going for summer, but find some ways to become active. I think through your activities, you may be pleasantly surprised, and I think that's where the Venus and Saturn, Pluto conjunction comes together. That's where those surprises are gonna so for you all, watch out, you know, and not bad surprises, but you know, also with Uranus is what? The great shock, the great awakener. So Uranus, Aquarius people are kind of used to maybe a little bit of stop and go, but I think it may be a little bit more like, what happens around these time periods of the conjunctions, which is December 11th, 25th, 2021, and March 3rd, 2022. So check in, you know, during those times, Aquarius. Okay, so that is all we got. That was the last sign of the series. So for real, y'all let me know how this next 6 months plays out for you all. And stay tuned for also equivalent tarot readings.